get it started right now. So I did get a message. Let me let you guys know how this is going to go for anyone who's new to these trainings. I'm going to be on here until no one has any more questions. First and foremost, I think I'm going to be helping Tyler. Tyler, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. So I'm going to be helping Tyler with a deal. He's got to do something because he's got a little bit of a time constraint. Then we're going to be going into, I have to see what won the poll, but I'm willing to bet it was something having to do with seller finance. So we're going to go into a seller financing overview. We'll do a Q&A on that. I'll answer any questions you guys have. Then we'll go into maybe structuring a deal, underwriting a deal, talking to realtors. And then at the end, we'll go over just an open forum Q&A. So any questions that you have that I didn't answer or topics that didn't come up, you guys can fire away until there's no more questions. If you end up having to leave early, these are all recorded and they'll be uploaded tomorrow. So don't even worry about it. All right, Tyler, what are we doing?
Yeah, so I had this property, and it's a subject to where the realtor told me I plugged in all the numbers. I can give those to you now if you need. They didn't care how much they had to leave at closing as long as they got something like cash to seller.
Okay.
But that's not really the problem right now. I can just give you the numbers. It doesn't work as a sub two because it doesn't cash flow. So I wanted to see if we can make it work as a hybrid.
Well, if it doesn't cash flow as a sub two, it's not going to cash flow as a hybrid.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean they don't even care. The realtor doesn't care about his commission as long as he gets something. I mean it is what it is, but
All
I don't
right,
know.
hold on.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a few questions. Let's Sherlock Holmes this thing. All right. So is the house in good shape?
To my knowledge, yes.
That sounds like a lawyer answer. What condition is the house in?
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures. It looks good.
Like rent ready?
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay. So would you say that it falls into the category of old or dated but not broken?
Yeah, I'd say so. At worst. Yeah.
Okay, because you're real liberal with the Y's in that. Yeah. So I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking at the photos.
All right. So what'll it rent for?
Uh 2072.
Okay. I'm just gonna do 2,100. We get another $30 out of that. What's the mortgage balance?
319,000.
What's the interest rate?
5.6.
That's not terrible. What's the PITI?
20, 25, 21.
Oh no.
I know.
Okay. All right. And then we're not worried about realtor commission, right? What about the
No.
seller? What are they expecting?
Anything. Literally 1,000, 2,000. It don't matter.
All right. All right. No, hold on. We'll see if we can get them more than that. The deal doesn't cash flow. So the only thing that we can do is sell this to a homestead buyer. The balance is 319. Damn. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Let me start by let me see if I can give them 10. And let me see if I can give the realtor 3. Nope, not 300, 3,000. We'll just see what we can do and we'll work backwards from there.
Mhm. And the HOA is
Oh my God.
33. 33. 33, that's it.
3,300?
No, just 33. It just says 33 on Deal Sniper. Literally. I don't get it. I don't know
Well,
if that's incorrect information or what, but that's what it shows.
it can't be 33 a year. You're gonna have to confirm it with the realtor, but I'm gonna put in $400 just in case. I'd rather cover it and we don't need it than
Okay.
not. All right,
I
so
mean, look at that cash on cash. That's
well,
terrible.
hold on. It's not that bad. It was at 3,100 before. We need to put this back. All right.
6.
So here's what we would have to find.
Uh,
Now, this is assuming the house is in good condition. We're
yep.
not we're not looking for someone to buy this thing for cash flow. It's not going to. They'll be losing at least $7,700 a year. But is the house worth it for a $2,500 mortgage payment to someone who's just got 30 grand who wants to buy a house?
I mean, I could forward you the address, and I think so.
I'll tell you what. You know me. If there's a 1% chance we can close it, let's go for it. But
Yeah,
you gotta make sure the realtor and the seller. There's no
we're on the
arrears
same
or
page.
anything, right?
There's no what?
arrears, like they're not behind in their payments or anything?
I don't believe so.
Okay, find that out. Just get that confirmed and then confirm the HOA.
Okay.
And then let them know, I mean, set the proper
Oh yeah, you're
expectation.
right. Sorry, I'm looking. It says yearly HOA. You were nearly spot on. 396.
Okay. Okay.
I don't
So
know why it
good.
was showing 33.
That's all right. So just confirm that there's no arrears, there's no liens or anything like that. And then yeah, DM me the address. I'll look at it tonight after the training. If we can, because if the rent is 2,100, then is this house nice enough for someone to pay $30,000 in order to pay $400 more, but have a mortgage in a house that they own? If the house is in good shape, I think that that's a possible thing. It's not
Mm-hmm.
as likely as if this thing cash flowed if we can move it to a buyer, but we've moved deals similar to this before. So yeah, I think it's worth a shot. Just set the proper expectation with the realtor.
Yeah, it's pretty nice from what I'm looking at.
I say go for it.
Yeah, all right.
You
I'll
have to do
confirm
a
that and I'll
contract
send you the.
request though because it's
Yeah.
a sub two.
Mm-hmm. I'll get that information first before I'll give you the address.
All right, bet. Yeah, just DM it to me.
All right. Thank you, Sean.
No worries. Okay, Amber, what's up?
Yeah, so you said we have to request for a what now? Sub to what?
Oh, yeah. So I don't have a subject to or hybrid contract in Discord. It's more a cash and creative contract.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a link. I don't remember what it's called. Hold on. It's in the submit your deals channel. It's the very top link. That's if you need us to send out or send you a subject to or a hybrid contract. And then right below it is a video that shows you how to fill it out.
Okay, so I'll definitely need to hit that then. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Got
yeah. For the deal we were talking about earlier. Yeah. You have.
I was looking for it, but I didn't. It's okay.
No, it's in the submit your deals channel. There's only two links in there. One is for the contract, and the other is a video how to fill it out. And then once I have the contract, I'll literally just deliver it right to you.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. All right. So, is there anyone that has a specific question about seller financing, creative financing, anything under that umbrella that I can go over? Because if not, then I'm going to move over to how to use the calculator. David, what's up? You're muted if you're talking, bro. Sydney, give me 1 second. David, there should be a mute button at the bottom of your screen. It'll look like a little microphone with a line through it.
Oh,
There
I
you
see
go.
it. I see it. All right. Can you hear me?
Yep. What's up, dude?
All right. How does the realtor get paid on the buyer side? How do I add that in?
Oh, sure. So if you go to the calculator, so I'll use this one for example.
Uh-huh.
So if I take this out and then go to the subject to, it tells me what the entry fee percentage is. We want to keep this under 15 ideally, but the highest we'll ever go is 20.
Okay.
And the lower the better. I mean, obviously. So
Okay.
you'll see here that the total entry fee on this one is $20,000. That is the $10,000 to the seller plus the $10,000 assignment fee.
Okay.
That makes that 20. And then the closing costs, it calculates it for you at 6,300. So the total entry fee is 26,000. If I go back to this one and put, let's say, a $3,000 realtor commission in,
Uh-huh.
and it adds it here. So now my entry fee percentage still less than 10. So this is really good. And that's the amount of money. And what that means is that the buyer is going to have to come to the closing table with about $30,000. 10,000 for the assignment fee, 10,000 for the seller, 6,000 for the closing costs, 3,000 for the realtor.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
Who else? Oh, Sydney, what's up?
Hey, so I keep getting confused. So whenever we do a sub 2 and you input the PITI, is that where that's where you put the monthly payment on the mortgage, right?
Correct. The PITI stands for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So like on seller finance, you see here, well, obviously this one's a little high, but that's okay.
Oh, right.
You see
That's
here, this would be the P and I if we had interest on this deal, would be the principal and the interest, and then we add taxes and insurance. But on most mortgages, the impound account's attached, which is just a fancy way of saying they pay the tax and insurance every month instead of every year. So that's when you would put that there.
okay. That makes sense. I just needed to hear it. I guess.
No worries.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have a question on creative financing as it pertains to the calculator? Cool. Does anyone have any questions about creative financing on its own? All right. So now let's talk about realtors. Who has a question is about how it works with realtors? If not, then I'm just going to start running through some different scenarios and how you can answer them. Amber, what's up?
So one realtor, he pretty much says that he has like 6 other properties that probably would be a good fit for creative finance.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but again, this goes back to kind of what we talked about earlier. So I asked if he would be able to provide me with information on those so that I could run numbers. And I don't know if I'm just not saying it the right way, but I haven't heard anything back.
Well, how long ago was that?
Yesterday.
Okay, so follow up with him in the morning. There could be a myriad of reasons of why he may not have the numbers yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he may not have the information you asked for. He could be busy. He could have gotten in a car accident. Who knows?
Okay, life.
But yeah, life happens. So just because it doesn't happen quick for you, he may be hustling his ass off trying to get it, and maybe the seller's slow.
Thank you.
So don't always go, like, you can prepare for the worst case scenario, but the best way to prepare to a worst case scenario like this is to move on to another deal.
Mm-hmm.
Do something else to occupy your time. If he calls you back, yay, great. If not, well, you've already got 4 more in the pipe, so who cares?
Right, I got you.
All right, let's see. Who else had a question? I can't see the other screen. Okay, so then you guys can just cut me off if you guys have a question in between this. So I'm going to start giving you the most common responses you're going to get from a realtor, whether it's through email, they text you, or they want to get on the phone and talk to you. I get a lot of DMs of people like, oh, I don't know what they're going to say. I'm going to tell you the most of what they're going to say. And this is if you're sending out the generic version of the deal sniper letter. Okay. If you're adding things like the term, the balloon, the interest rate, the explanation for the interest rate, then these won't really apply to you. All right. So when a realtor responds and says, what's the term, what's the balloon, what's the interest, is this a 0% interest? Some other variations of that are the numbers don't make sense, because they won't, because they don't know what's going on until you explain it. So any type of variation of that, all that means is they want to know, how long are the payments for? Is there a balloon? And is there an interest rate? And if so, why? They're also probably going to be confused as to why they had the property listed for one price and you offered so much more over asking. And then your monthly payment doesn't make sense to them. Your response to that should always be something like, and again, however you talk, don't try and copy me, but it should always be something along the lines of, our interest rate on this deal is at 0%. That's why we offered so much more over your asking price on a property that's been sitting for so long on market. I mean, you don't have to say that last part, but I would. Anyway, let's see what else. We're looking to get this, and here's the one that'll satisfy the balloon and the amortization, the term, when they ask that whole cluster of questions. Here's what we're looking to get this paid off anywhere from 10 to 15 years. It depends on if your seller's willing to take the terms that I've sent you. If the seller's willing to take the terms that I sent you in the first email, we can get this paid off in 10 years. If they would like more of a down payment or a monthly payment, we're probably looking at closer to 12 to 15 years, depending on how much more they want. And just some variation of that. You're just explaining it because, again, anyone that was on the last training that we did last week, talking to, I believe her name was Olivia, realtors don't know. A lot of them don't understand the offer. So you have to educate them and let them know what's actually going on, because they don't, their seller is going to ask them, well, what does this mean? And they're going to say, oh, I don't know. So their lack of knowing what's going on may come through as a little bit of frustration over text, email, over the phone. They just don't know. Just tell them. Why is the interest rate at 0%? The buyers that I represent are looking for deals that they're going to buy and hold. They're going to put tenants in there. They need cash flow. In order for this to cash flow in a way that they would actually be interested in purchasing it from you, we kept the interest rate at 0%, but I added whatever to the purchase price. My buyers don't care so much about the purchase price as much as they do with their cash flow. If the deal cash flows, they're good to go. That's why it's 0%, or just some variation of that, because that's the reason. Can you get this paid off sooner? Anytime a realtor asks you for something, can you do more of a down payment? Can you do more of a monthly payment? Can we do a shorter balloon? You should always respond with a question. I don't know. How much do you want? How much more of a down payment were they looking for? How much? And don't ever, it's not them, it's the seller. So don't attack them. Don't want your accusations going to them. We're trying to build relationships. I don't know. How much more were they looking for on a down payment? How much more were they looking for on a monthly payment? How short of a balloon do you think that they need? And then if you don't know the answer, if it's something close to what the SOPs are, and you're like, I think we can make this work, blame it on me. Hey, you know what? Let me call my partner, Sean. Give me like 20 minutes. I'll call you back. And then just DM me. I'm always in here. PJ, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, so man, I have a realtor friend that moved, and I reconnected with them probably about a couple of days ago.
Nice.
They're in a big market in Florida. I'm trying to see how to go about maybe a little bit more with the company. Even, I mean, they're my friend, but I'm trying to see. I don't want to burn bridges with somebody I know. When it's closing.
How are you concerned about burning bridges? What do you mean?
Maybe when the proof of funds is asked for and it's going to be somebody else's name on there.
Well,
or,
are you going to tell them the truth that you're wholesaling? Because that's what I would recommend.
Most definitely.
So if you're telling them the truth, then they should have no issue with your name not being on the proof of funds, because they know that you're not the end buyer, that you're going to assign this to the end buyer.
Okay. Gotcha.
So when a realtor asks for a proof of funds, friend or not, and it's not abundantly clear to them that I'm a wholesaler, I say something along the lines of, hey, you know what? I have no problem submitting a proof of funds to you. Let me tell you what I do. I've got about 5 or 6 exclusive buyers that go exclusively through me here in Birmingham. They literally pay me to find deals like this for them. I think this would be one that they'd be interested in if we can get terms like this or pretty close to it. I know for a fact that if we can get this done, 2 or 3 of them will be dying to get this deal from me. Once I've identified which one of them wants to move forward, I have no problem submitting you proof of funds and EMD 48 hours later.
Okay.
So that tells them, one, they're not expecting a proof of funds from you, hopefully, if they're paying attention. And 2, you've let them know that you're not buying this, it's your buyers. And once you figure out which one of your buyers is going to buy it, then you'll give them their proof of funds, not yours.
Okay. Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, most definitely. I appreciate that, Sean.
No worries.
One more. I didn't mean to budge in. One more thing.
I can't see their screen anyway.
I'm gonna send those pictures to you. I'm just waiting on the guy to get back home. I think we talked a little bit earlier about the rehab.
Oh, yeah. Trying to see how deep the rehab was. You told me it was going to be like 45 minutes. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to look at them until later tonight anyway.
Okay, cool, man. I appreciate you, brother.
No worries. All right. Okay, so that's how you handle the term, balloon, interest rate, monthly payment. It all boils down to you having a conversation, a real conversation with the realtor. Hey, look, my buyers are trying to cash flow this thing. If it doesn't cash flow a certain percentage, they have no incentive to buy it. So if we can make this work, I can get this thing sold for you. If you want to, here's the next one. Double ending the deal, paying their commission. How do they get paid? I don't think, and even though you technically, and sometimes you can, don't do this, especially if you're new. We can give up to 3%. Sometimes we can do more, but I'd like you guys to keep it at about 3% of their closing costs. That means a couple of things. The buyers, our buyers, the investors, will pay up to 3% of the purchase price. They don't care how it's allocated. What I mean by that is, if you want to say, hey, look, you can't represent me as the buyer and I pay the seller's commission to you. I can do one or the other. I can pay the seller's commission, or you can represent us as the buyer and I'll pay you up to 3%. Or you can say, hey, look, I'll split it with you 50-50. I'll pay 1.5% of the buyer's portion and I'll pay 1.5% of the seller's portion. However it goes, when it's all said and done, max is going to be 3%. And even then, that's not awesome. You want to get it as low as possible because you want your entry fee percentage to be as low as possible. But if you have to close the deal, then it is what it is. Get it done. So you can tell the real estate agent, hey, if you want to double in the deal, it's most important that you let them know very early on, yes, I'm a wholesaler. No, I am not trying to cut you out of the deal. It's quite the opposite. I will probably be paying a portion of, if not all of, your commission. So much so that I need to know how much you're charging so I can build it into the deal and make sure it cash flows and works for my buyers before I waste any of our time. Now you sound like someone who's done this before. Does anybody have any questions or need me to repeat anything that I've said? I understand I speak very fast. Not very fast, a little fast. Austin, what's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if there's a specific type of property that we should be offering seller finance to, like distressed properties, rehab properties, multifamily, single family, triplex.
I would say all of the above, with the exception of distressed properties. The nicer the property is, the easier it is to dispo it to an investor.
Okay, yeah.
Because you don't want to have them have to do a big ass entry fee with commissions for realtors and assignment fees and down payments. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Investor, now you got to put 40 grand into the house before you make $1.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, because my VAs they pulled a distressed properties list, but they're bringing me rehab leads. So I guess my only option now is to offer seller finance because they're not going to take a discounted offer.
You can offer it to them. I mean, there's nothing saying, and it's not saying that we can't find buyers or there aren't buyers who will buy deals like that. It's just the pool of those buyers is a lot smaller than the ones who will buy creative financing deals where the property is like damn near turnkey and they can just get a tenant right in there.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But if the deal cash flows real good, if the down payment's real good, if the terms are good and the property needs work, as long as it's within reason, I mean, you still got more than a 10% chance of getting it sold. I say go for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Shit, what else are you going to do with them?
Yeah, appreciate it.
No worries. Does anybody else have a question about what I've covered with realtors so far? Good. I want to make a point, and I know a lot of you have heard it before, but there's new people, and then some of you who have heard it before need to hear it again. There are so many leads available using this system. You guys are all smart. I've spoken to 80% of you in the Discord, and I think I've spoken to almost all of you in this call right now. You guys aren't stupid. So if you speak to a realtor and bomb it 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, by the 30th time, you're going to be an expert. You're going to sound better than me. Now, you've bombed 30 realtors. You still have 1.5 million that have never spoken to you that now you're all polished for, and you can go get those closed. So don't be afraid to get on the phone. That's going to be the best teacher. Get your teeth kicked in a little bit. It's awesome. It's fun. It's funny. Share it on the Discord. We do it all the time. Everyone has to go through it. As good as I sound right now, I sounded worse than anybody I've ever interviewed on any of my videos when I first started. I was terrible. Absolutely terrible until I got dialed in. Now I sound like this. That's all you guys, you got to go through it. You're not burning leads. It's not wasting your time. You're developing what you're saying, how you're saying it. You're listening to vocal cues from what they're saying. You know the answers. Everything is polished. You've been through it 10, 15, 20 times already. And now you've got all these realtors out there that have never spoken to you, haven't heard of you, and are just waiting for you to call them. So you can call them sounding like you, but like me, but like you. So don't be afraid to get on the phones. Don't be afraid. Like, if you guys want me to answer questions, I'll answer questions, what to say and all that stuff, but get on the phone. The best teacher. What's up, Amber?
So let's say that obviously there are realtors who have multiple listings that have been up for forever. Would you send like offers, multiple offers to the same agent? Because I feel like after a while, that's when it starts looking like computer scripted, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, that makes sense.
Okay.
So I've answered this question before, and different version of me running the show today. So I'm going to give a totally different answer. I think, just to piggyback off of what I said a few minutes ago, if you notice that a realtor has multiple listings, don't even send the email. Don't even send it. Call them.
Mm-hmm.
Say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, I noticed that you have a lot of properties on market right now. Good for you. Just real quick, I was going to put in an offer on one. I saw how many you had listed. I thought it'd just be easier if I gave you a call. And then give them the whole wholesaler pitch right from the beginning. I have about 10 buyers local to this city. Fill in the blank for the city. This is where you sound confident.
Mm-hmm.
When you start giving specifics, you sound more confident. So if you're dealing like in Birmingham and you're calling a realtor who has a bunch of listings in Birmingham, look, I see all the listings you have. That's great. Good for you. I do see that they're kind of sitting for a little bit. Let me explain to you what I do. I've got 9 buyers that pay me to go out and find deals on market for them. They're looking for creative deals. They're all buy and hold buyers. They're looking to add to their portfolio. They're looking to cash flow these things. They're willing to offer over asking price if we can come to terms. Are any of your properties open to that? Which one of your properties or your sellers would be open to that, rather than me just blasting you with emails? That's not the way I do things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guarantee you a realtor's never got a phone call like that from a wholesaler. And that's what you need to do. You got to stand out. Now, do you have to sound exactly like me? No. But do you need to sound as confident as I sounded? Yes. With whatever words you're saying. But just have a conversation with them. Pretend like talking to them. Pretend it's me. You guys all think I know more than you anyway. So pretend you're talking to me. I'm easy to talk to. I better be anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's no big deal. And if you bomb it, then guess what? Go call another realtor that's never talked to you. Try it again. That answer your question?
Absolutely. Thank you.
No problem. Does anybody else have a question about talking to realtors?
Sean.
What's up, Leslie?
Hey, I have a question. It's not about talking to realtors, but about sending email. I have Redfin been sending me some properties.
Mm-hmm.
Do I just send them an offer without knowing if it's a good deal or not?
Well, when you say Redfin's been sending you properties, you mean a Redfin, like a bot, has been emailing you properties?
Well, what
or an
happened
actual
is
person?
I went to Redfin and signed up.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, every time they've been sending me, they just put me on a list and send me properties.
Oh, so it's a bot doing it. Yeah, I wouldn't respond to those. Here's what you can do. As a matter of fact, I'll show everybody right now. Just in case there's anyone in here that's not on Deal Sniper for whatever reason, you're not sure yet. I'm going to show you how to do it just using the calculator. So I'm going to go, well, first of all, St. Louis. Let me make sure. It looks like I already hit that filter. you're using Redfin, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor, they all have this setting. Make sure you're clicking on at least more than 60 or 90 days. I like 90. That's the only filter you really need. We'll do this one. So this house is on market, right? They're asking $42,000. It's been on Redfin 111 days. Here's the person that it's listed by. So that's these are the only two people I want to talk to, and I'll Google them a little bit later. Now, let me see if Redfin does this. If not, you can always use Zillow, but you need to figure out, I want to use one that's not paid, because I usually use Rent-A-Meter. Oh, here we go. Rental earnings estimated $1,099 per month, $1,100 a month. We can go off of that. So they're asking how much? $42,000. So now I'm going to go to here. I'm going to assume there's no mortgage. They're listing it for 42. Let's see what condition. Oh, there's no photos. Let's see. Attention investors, property being sold, part of a package with 6 other properties. Okay, good. Package deal for $225. Okay, so asking $225 for the whole thing. All right. So we'll just do this house. We'll pretend we didn't see that part, because that's kind of giving it away a little bit. It says investor, so we're just going to assume the property needs a little bit of work. So I'm not going to add as much as Deal Sniper, but I'll round it off to about a $50,000 purchase price. And then I can give them up to $5,000 down. So they'll be seller financing $45,000, $5,000 down. I think on this one we should probably just stick to $10,000, and then it'll rent for, what did I say, $1,100, right? And then even if we wanted to pay realtor commission, that would be $10,500. So now I'm going to go to seller finance. Now I do have to put in the taxes, and I have to put in the insurance. And I believe it tells me that here. I just don't remember where the hell it is. Hold on a second.
It's all the way down.
It's all the way down at the bottom?
Mm-hmm. About this area here. Down one more.
Keep going.
Oh, I think I saw it a minute ago. When
passed
you were in it before, I guess.
All right, let me see. Nope, that's what it's been listed for. I know it's on one of these little drop. Oh, here it is. Taxes.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, so yeah, but that's not giving me the number. Got to be somewhere else. Here we go. $342. All right, so we go back to the calculator. Taxes, $342. Now I'm going to estimate about $100 a month. It's probably going to be a lot. It's probably closer to like $750. But I'm going to go worst case scenario, $1,200 a year. That's $100 a month. Okay. And then the monthly payment, if you look, it should be $125. But we're going to figure out how much we can pay by slowly increasing this. So we're going to start at $500. Okay, so that gives us a 24% cash on cash return. Let's go up to $600. Okay, let's go up to $700. Oh, getting close. Let's go $725. $725 is too much. So $715. Nope, $710. Okay, so now without using Deal Sniper at all, I just put together a creative offer. So now I would email the realtor, which is these two. Where you at, guys? Yeah, these two, Robert and Justin. Now, granted, I would have to Google one of them to get their email address, but that's okay. But just off of this, I just made an offer. My offer is a $50,000 purchase price with $5,000 down, and I would want this to be like, I think 400 is fair. Yeah, and $400 a month. And on this one, because the asset is so small, I think you can get away with a 5-year balloon, no problem. So I just did a creative offer that all I have to do is put that manually into an email, send it to the realtor, and I just sent one. Now, Deal Sniper, the only thing it does is it'll do all the numbers, look up all the numbers, scrub it, do the math, and write the email for you. And I'm still working on getting you access. I'm going to have that taken care of tonight. Should be by 8 o'clock from what I've been told, Leslie.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. But does that make sense how to do that in the meantime?
Oh yeah, I've been playing with it for a while. It's just my thing is, instead of going and look for the properties, I have them come into my email like every day, twice a day. They sending me properties. I said, can I just do that and just send them the email?
Yeah,
Because-
I wouldn't send Redfin the email. I would click on the property that they're sending you. So let's say they sent you this one here. You know, once you click on it, just scroll down and look for whoever's listing it. That's the only person you ever want to deal with. But you
Yeah,
can
that's
use
what-
the addresses that they put, as long as, see, I'm going to assume that Redfin's not sending you properties that have been on market 90 plus days.
No, so some of them is 84, some of them is 50, 20.
As long as you stick to the ones that are higher than 60, yeah, you can absolutely do what I just did.
Okay. Got it.
All
So
right.
if I go down the list and I find that was my next question. They have the I don't think it's the listing agent that's on the listing, isn't it? That should be the Redfin agent.
Yeah, the Redfin agent is not the listing agent. So
Yeah,
you can-
I got that. All right.
yeah, use the emails that they send you for the addresses, but don't respond with a Redfin agent. You're gonna just look for the listing agent per address that they send you.
Yeah. All right. That will work good.
Awesome. All right. Does anybody else have a question? Jason, what's up?
Yeah, just in looking at that house, it looks like it's going to need some work. Do we need to take that into consideration anywhere, or just send it just like that?
No, typically you would. So I use that house as an example for the example of how to underwrite it, but I wouldn't have put an offer in on that property like that without seeing the photos, because you want to make sure that the property is in relatively good shape if you're going to try and do this on it. Like, this isn't going to work for anything that needs like I don't want to say never. It can. It's just very rare that it'll work on a property that needs extensive rehab. So I would definitely want to see it. No, you're right.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. All right. Does anybody? Okay, so let's switch over to the open forum part. So this is if you have a question about anything pertaining to wholesaling, creative financing, investing, whatever. Anything you guys have a question in, you guys can let them rip now. Look at that. You guys aren't even woken up yet on a Monday. What's up, Amber?
Oh, come on, man. I'm alive here. Let me see. I have would you be able to come up with an example for a hybrid off the top of your head, or no?
Yeah, of course I can.
Okay.
So you want to just underwrite a hybrid?
Yes. If you could remember the scenario from earlier, though, like we did like a slight increase. And I want to see if that works for everything or just this offer, or yeah. I
All
just
right.
need different scenarios.
Okay. Anybody want to unmute and give me a mortgage balance?
How about 250?
Okay.
250K.
250. Okay. Somebody else give me another long number.
420.
All right.
Great number there.
You guys got what, almost a month ago. You'll be all right. All right. So, and then I'll make up the rest of the stuff. So we're going to do a $420,000 purchase price. That's whether Deal Sniper, whether that's their asking price, whatever. That doesn't matter. Whatever the purchase price is, that's what matters. So the formula is you take the purchase price, and I think I put it up here. I did. Yeah, you take the purchase price, you subtract the down payment, you subtract the mortgage, whatever's left, is the seller financed amount. So in this situation, and I'm on my calculator on my phone, I got a $420,000 purchase price. I'm going to subtract $250,000 for the mortgage. And then the most we can ever give on a down payment is 10% of the purchase price. In this case, it'd be $42,000. So now I'm going to subtract $42,000. That leaves with, in case you were following along, $128,000. That's the seller financed amount. Mortgage balance is $250,000. We will do a $1,500 PITI. That's a little low, but that's okay. We'll back it up with that. We're going to do 42,000. This is our max. And then we'll just put this at 2,500. And we'll do no realtor commission right now, and then we'll see how a realtor commission can change a deal. All right. So let's take a look at the numbers.
Well, wait. What about the sub two? I thought you always do both of those when
This
doing
is
a hybrid.
both.
Oh,
Because you see how this matches? Mortgage balance, PITI interest rate.
yeah, but no, I literally plug in both. I literally.
Oh,
only have to
yeah,
focus
no,
on
you,
hybrid.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to do that.
Oh, okay. Well then, hey, okay, I'm following.
All right, so 420. All right, so let's go to the hybrid. Well, let me explain this first. Here's the issue why hybrids are hard to sell. Not always, but sometimes. And that's because the obligation on the investor is so high. What do I mean by that? The investor, once they purchase this property, have to be responsible for the $1,500 mortgage payment. That can't change. It's already, mortgage is in place. And then they have to be responsible for whatever we negotiate that monthly seller finance payment to be, to start chipping away at the balance that's left over on the seller financing portion. So once you take those two into account, and then the war chest, I mean, look at this deal. Even if we gave the seller $500 a month on top of the $1,500 a month mortgage, the investor, after everything is said and done, is only going to be walking away with about $3,000 a year. It's not enough. So the only thing that we can do on a hybrid deal to change the cash on cash return in a significant way is the monthly payment to the seller. Because the rent, we can't change what a property will rent for, and we can't change what the mortgage payment is. So the only thing we can change is the seller finance amount. So what if I go to $100? That works, but I mean, that's right on the edge. Let's go 150. Okay, let's go 200. All right, 250. I would push that through. So the most you can give them is $250 a month on top of covering that $1,500 a month mortgage payment. So Amber, did that kind of answer your question on how to break those down?
Yes, actually, great job. So based on the one that I showed you earlier, the cash on cash return was 27.23, which is obviously great.
Yep.
And then the entry fee, because it's right at the door of that 20%, because the cash on cash is so high, you'd say it's still worth pushing.
I'd still say it's absolutely still worth pushing. And let's look at it here. So let's say this realtor wanted 3% of the purchase price, and I'll do $12,000. I know it's supposed to be a little bit more than that. We're gonna do $12,000 for easy numbers. So that I don't know if I'd push that. Now I'd probably have to back this down. To 150 to get us back to where we were. And then my entry percentage went up to 16.88, which is higher than the 15 where we like to be, but lower than 20 that we have as our max. So at that point, we'd probably talk to the realtor and be like, hey, I want to make this deal work. I don't want to waste anyone's time, but your $12,000 commission is fucking up the deal. So can we back off that a little bit? Can we do 8? And before you ask, you just put it into the calculator and you see that's much better. So, and then look at because if you've already sold the monthly payment, the cash on cash return went up. So yeah, in that situation, you'd have to talk to the realtor. Now you don't have to. Again, 16.88 works. as far as the numbers are concerned, but as far as attractiveness to an investor, if it's between your deal and a deal where the entry percentage is lower and the cash on cash return is similar, they're going to pick the one that saves the money.
Mhm.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes. Now lastly, in which case, I guess, would it be okay to go above the 10% as far as the cash to seller goes? Like, is it ever, if it makes sense, is it okay to go above the 10%?
Yes.
Okay.
And I hate telling you guys this because you guys are gonna flood me with all these DMs. Sean, this one's a little bit higher, but it worked. I don't know, I'm just gonna rub my head. So thanks a lot, Amber.
Hey,
But
my bad.
no,
My
it's
bad.
okay. Yes, there are mitigating circumstances. So let's go back to this hybrid for a second. Okay, so this is better, right? But it's not the best, but it's obviously better. But if we were to get it to where, hey, you know what? Seller said they'll take $20,000 down. And then obviously we got to kick this up to 148. And we'll still keep that same realtor commission in there. And we go to hybrid. Now look at that. So this would be a mitigating circumstance for the low cash on cash return, because what if the seller doesn't want $150? What if they want $350?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So you can balance things out like, hey, I can give you a higher payment within reason, but I have to come off the down payment. Or, yeah, I can give you a little bit more of a down payment, but I have to come off that purchase price. Remember, I'm not buying this for me. This is going to an investor that's looking at cash flow. If the deals don't work, if the terms don't work, they're not going to buy it. There's zero incentive. That's when you can start putting your foot down and digging your heels in a little bit, just letting them know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, if the cash on cash return, I'll show you this one. So let me kick this back up. Now you said we had this at 42, right?
Yep.
And then this was at 128. Yeah. So what if the property rented for 3,500? And let's say they wanted 50.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I need.
Okay. And then this would be what, 112? Nope. Okay. So now let's look at the deal. Look at the cash on cash return. The entry fee is higher, but with a cash on cash return like that, now it's a little bit more worth it. This means that this person is going to pay $76,000 to make at least $15,600 a year.
A year. That's amazing. Okay, now that makes actually perfect sense.
But again, keep in mind, this is what's going to dictate the bulk of that. Because if I drop this back down to 150, your cash on cash return goes up.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's all the whole package. Yes, there are rules that can be bent. There are even rules that can be broken if there is something else to justify doing that. Like, here's another one. You've got a property that's been completely renovated top to bottom. No one's ass has ever sat on that toilet. It's brand new. But they want a little bit more of a down payment. Okay, that makes sense. Because now not only can the buyer get a tenant in there immediately, but they may be able to charge a little bit more on the rent than they would have been able to charge if the property was just dated but livable and not broken. So yeah, that's a reason to pay a little bit more of a down payment or a little bit higher of an entry fee percentage. There's got to be something to balance it out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Elizabeth, what's up?
Hello. So from that deal from earlier, the realtor said that they'll take the 1,500 a month. Do you think it's worth it to put it under contract again?
That was like 200 deals ago. Remind me of the numbers.
It was basically like really close to like 10%, but it was the purchase price was 220
Mm-hmm.
finance.
Okay.
Let me pull everything up. Okay. 220 The loan was 203,000.
Oops. Okay. 17,000 for the down payment.
Yep.
What was the rent? 16?
2228.
Oh. Okay. Are we doing realtor commission?
It was 2228. I don't know if it no commission.
Okay. No commission. Good. Okay. And then what was the taxes and the insurance?
Let me go. Okay, so the taxes is $1,645.49,
Okay.
and the insurance is $836.
Oh shit. Okay. What's the monthly payment?
$1,500.
I mean, it works.
Okay, so
The
she
deal
said
worked.
she did say like 1,500 principal only.
Oh yeah. There's no interest.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. And then Brandon was also saying something about like asking for a mortgage, a mortgage thing.
A mortgage statement?
Yeah, is that normal?
Does this deal have a mortgage?
I don't know. I have
If
no
there's
idea.
no if there's no mortgage statement, then you won't. I mean, if I'm sorry, if there's no mortgage, then there won't be a mortgage statement. However, I would confirm that because $1,500 is quite a bit. Couldn't get him to 1,250, huh?
No.
Just confirm that and you can do it. There's a way to ask for a mortgage. Like if you guys forget to ask something, you guys can just add it in with something else. Like if I want to know if there's a mortgage and I'm talking to a seller or a realtor, I do a lot like the cop thing. Cops pull you over. Are there any guns, knives, grenades, bazookas, missiles, machetes, swords? They don't care about the other stuff. They're asking, are there any guns and knives in the car? But they package it in a way to it kind of makes it funny. So I always say, any mortgages, back taxes, liens, bodies buried in the basement, anything like that that I have to worry about? Any hauntings, just something to keep it funny. But you can ask like that to package it all up just to see if there's a mortgage.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Shen, I have a question.
Well, hold on one second, Leslie. Hold on one second. What's up, Darren? He had his hand up. Darren?
Hello.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
I got a couple questions. What's a 1031?
Oh, a 1031 exchange?
Yeah.
All right, so let me give you an example, paint the picture for you. Let's say you own a property, you own it free and clear, and it's worth $500,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when you sell that, whether wholesaler, on market, whatever, if you sell it with the intent of doing a 1031 exchange, that means you're trying to not get taxed on that money. So what happens is instead of closing and then escrow gives you a check for $500,000, escrow keeps that money until you find something that's worth $500,000 that you want to buy, and then escrow will send that check to whoever's selling that property when the deal closes. So you never get the money. And the whole point behind that is so you don't have to pay taxes on that earned income from selling your house or selling whatever.
Yeah, because the realtor like they can't sell the finance because it's a 1031. So I should just leave it.
Yeah, you should leave that one alone.
Okay. And the other question is, I just got another accepted offer, and like I already wrote it up in a contract and sent it over for like a review and stuff. And he called me and he was like, they accepted it, and he asked if I work with DocuSign. I said yeah, and then he asked for my legal name to put in the contract. But then he said something about I gotta sign something like that I'm unrepresented by him or something like that. And I was just wondering if that's like okay. Like,
Yeah, that's fine. Here's the thing. So basically he's saying that he's going to double in the deal. And what that means is he's representing the seller for listing the property, And then now he is representing you as the buyer of the property. Just make sure that he understands that you're not paying more than 3%, and you don't even want to pay that.
Okay. And
Like
also,
if he's telling you, oh, I want 3%, I would say, hey, I'm willing to do 1.5. You know, I'm not really looking to go too much higher than that because I have to build this into the deal for the investor. If I make it too high, they're not going to close on the deal, then no one gets paid.
okay. And also, is a 9-year appraisal a thing?
A 9-year appraisal?
Yeah, like if you wanted a 1-year balloon, which the property is not going to
Oh,
appreciate in 1 year.
a 9-year appraisal clause?
Yeah, it's not going to
Yeah.
appraise in 1 year, but I can say a 9-year appraisal, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can do a 9-year appraisal clause. That's fine.
And my last one is this realtor is about to write me up another contract. Can you review it? So I don't want to like accidentally, sign my life away. Feel me? Like, can I send it to you to make sure like everything is good?
I will absolutely look it over for you, but I want you to look it over first. And I'm going to tell you the 2 things you're looking for. Because there's only 2 things that can be, well, that's not true, but the 2 most common things that you'll ever see in a contract from a realtor that you need to watch out for as a wholesaler is the contract not assignable? So you're looking for a clause in there that says, or a sentence that says, this contract is not assignable.
Okay.
If it doesn't say anything like that, you're good. If you want to protect yourself even further, then you tell the real estate agent, hey, I need you to put this clause in the contract and make sure the contract is assignable. They will 100% know what that means. And the second thing that you need to look out for is when the earnest money deposit or the EMD is due. You want EMD to be due after the inspection period or by the end of the inspection period, one or the other. And you want that inspection period to be ideally 14 business days. You got to be careful because a lot of times, not on purpose, it's just built into their contracts, just like it is into ours. A lot of times their contracts will say 14 calendar days or whatever the inspection period is. Doesn't matter how big the number, it's the wording at the end, calendar days. You don't want that. You want business days because 14 business days comes out to just a little under 3 weeks to find a buyer. That's ideal because weekends don't count. Even though my disposition team works on the weekends because they're thugs.
Sure. Yeah, that was about all the questions I had.
But no, I will look at the contract, but I want you to look through it first.
Okay.
And I want you to look for those 2 things and find where it either says it or confidently you can tell me that it doesn't say anything that you have to worry about.
So the contract got to be assignable and 14-day inspection period.
Well, EMD is due after the inspection period, and you want the inspection period to be ideally 14 business days. And let me ask you this, just so I can tell you how hard you should look at this thing. Does the guy know that you're a wholesaler?
Yeah.
He knows 100% you're a wholesaler?
Yeah, when we was on the phone, he was asking if he needs to do something like, am I the buyer or am I assigning it? I was like, yeah, I'm going to assign it to one of my buyers. So yeah, he knows. And I texted him before that. I was like, I'm gonna be transparent with you. I am looking to assign this. So
good for you.
Good. Like that's all you should know.
Then I'm gonna go out on a little bit of a limb here, and I'm gonna say I'm 90% sure you probably don't have to look that hard in that contract. He didn't put any of that stuff in there. The only thing you'll have to make sure is how long the inspection period is. And again, business days first and foremost. And then ideally we want 14. The lowest we'll take is 7.
Yeah, because he said in Arizona something the standard is like 10 business days or something like that.
That's perfect. Yeah, you don't have to argue with that. Say, oh, I want 14. 10 is enough.
Okay. Well,
good job. Nice. Well done. Leslie, you had a question. Go ahead, dude.
Yeah, while you were talking, another question popped to my head too. First one is how do the appraisal clause work?
So basically, the appraisal clause that we have says that if the property doesn't appraise for at least 40% equity by the time the appraisal is due, then we're going to push it back a year. So in simple terms, all that's saying is if the property doesn't appraise for enough for us to refinance it, cash out, and pay you off, then we're going to push the balloon back another year. And then you just keep pushing it back until it hits the number that you need it to hit so you can refinance and pay off the seller.
That's when you have a balloon, right?
That's what a balloon is, correct.
Okay. My next question is, while you were doing the first property for that lady, you are giving a formula about, you said to take the asking price, I think, you minus the mortgage. Can you
For a hybrid?
Yes, for a hybrid. Can you go back to that formula for me?
Sure. So if it's a hybrid deal and you want to figure out what the seller financed amount is,
Yeah.
then you take the total purchase price, you subtract the mortgage balance, and then you subtract whatever you're giving them as a down payment.
Okay.
Whatever's left will be the seller financed amount of a hybrid deal. And just so everyone's on the same page, I want to explain that real quick. When someone goes to sell their house, if they don't have a mortgage, whatever they sell their house for is their equity.
Yeah.
So what that means is if you own a house and you don't have a mortgage on it and you want to sell it and it's worth $200,000, then that's $200,000 is your equity, right? It's whatever you bought it for minus whatever it's worth now when you sell it. Okay? When someone needs to do a hybrid deal, that means that they still want their equity. So on a subject to, they're not getting their equity, or maybe they are if they don't have a lot and it's covered in the down payment that we're giving. But most of the time, they're not getting their equity. On a cash deal, you're not giving someone their equity. Their house is worth $200,000, but it's jacked up, so we're only going to give you 20. That means they're losing $180,000 worth of potential equity. On a hybrid deal, they're getting their equity. They're just getting it over time. That's all that means. So in this situation, the hybrid deal that's on the screen right now, they only owe $250,000. So once if they were to sell their house traditionally, they sell it for $420,000. They pay off the $250,000 mortgage automatically. That means what's left over is going to be $162,000 cash that they would walk away with, minus, not including realtor commissions or closing costs. Just forget about that for a second. Just easy numbers. They would walk away with about $162,000 in cash. On this hybrid deal, they're still getting that $162,000 in cash. They're just not getting it all up front. They're getting $50,000 of it up front. Then they're going to get payments every single month that at some point with a balloon is going to total the other $112,000. There's their equity. That's the difference between a hybrid deal and other types of deals. They're getting their equity. What's up, Leslie?
No, I got it. Thanks, man. Very clear.
All right, cool. Darren, what's up?
Is a 5,000? Hi. So is an HOA? Because it says it's 5,000. Is that actually a thing or a Deal Sniper glitch? Because I never saw it over like 700.
Oh shit! What city is it in?
It's in Georgia.
That's entirely possible.
It is?
Because what they're saying, it's not $5,000 a month, it's $5,000 a year. That's only $400, $415 a month.
I thought it was just glitch because I never saw nothing this high. I thought Florida had the highest HOAs.
I was about to say, wait till you start pushing deals in Florida, but no, it's here's what you can do. Double check with the realtor. They'll know. Hey, just wanted to confirm don't ask them if it is, because you don't want to look stupid. Just say, hey, can you confirm what is the yearly or monthly HOA cost for this property? That's all. And they'll tell you. And then whatever number they give you, if they give you the monthly number, you got to multiply it by 12 and put it in the HOA spot under the seller finance subject to whatever tab you're on.
Okay.
Because remember that the tabs at the bottom, other than the input tab other than the input tab, all the rest of them, those are yearly numbers, not monthly.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Austin, what's up, dude?
All right. When underwriting a deal, what's your desired cash on cash return? Like, you just want
At
to
l-
be at least 10%, or is there more than that?
There's an ideal we want to be 12 or higher. That's ideal. Bottom of the barrel is 10%.
Okay.
Like my team won't even push the deal if it's less.
So
than
what's
10%.
a really good deal? Like 20%?
I'll tell you like this. So anywhere between 10 and 12% investors are like, that's good.
Mhm.
12 to 15%, they're like, okay, I'm super interested. 15 to 20%, you got bidding wars happening. And then anything over 25%, you're probably looking at some Mortal Kombat shit to get that property. So, the higher the better.
Yeah, makes sense.
And again, remember, all buyers are different. Some buyers won't even look at a deal if it's not 20% cash on cash return. That's not what I'm giving you is the majority numbers that we come across.
Okay, so how do I find someone that's buying seller finance deals?
Like you have one under contract and you're trying to dispo it out?
Like, just in case I do get one under contract, like, because if I was to go for a cash buyer, I would just go on Facebook, but I don't know how to find a seller finance.
You can absolutely, okay, I'll give you guys a little mini course. So I am doing a, I hate to say course, I'm not charging for it. It's going on the YouTube channel. It's free, but it's going to be like 4 or 5 videos long and you guys see how busy I am. So it's just taking me time to get to it, but I'll give you a little mini course right now. You can absolutely push creative financing deals on Facebook. It just depends on the type of deal that you have. So you have to join the right groups, figure out, here's what you do. Go to Facebook, you go to groups, you go to search, type in whatever city the deal is in or the state, and then real estate investment groups or creative financing investment groups or some variation of those, seller financing groups, and join them all. Then you also want to put the deal, especially if it's going to be like a homestead buyer, you probably want to put the deal on Facebook Marketplace. And you want to write your dispo material geared towards people who can't go to a bank to get a loan, but they want to own a house anyway.
Okay, so are you allowed to market a house you have under contract, or
as long as you're not in the property isn't in a state that prohibits that? Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you have a real estate license.
Okay, I don't have that.
So here's what I would do. If you're going to do it yourself and not use a team, then don't lock up deals in South Carolina,
I'm in Florida.
Illinois, Florida. You should be fine. As far as I know, you should be fine. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But it was South Carolina, Illinois, and there was another one. It was weird. It was like Montana or some shit like that. One of those. I'm going to put together a list and I'm going to put it in the cheat sheet channel. And it'll break down which states you need to be careful or how you need to do it properly. But just stay away from Chicago. Oh, and New York. New York's just a pain in the ass. You have to have a lawyer involved every time. You can't just use a normal title and escrow company.
I appreciate it.
No worries. All right. Does anybody else have a question? Going once. Going twice. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody joining tonight. I will be active in the Discord for the next couple of hours, but I do have some paperwork to work on for you monsters that keep sending me all these deals. I'm very proud of all of you. Keep it up. If you have any questions for me, what's up, Austin?
So when's the next time you're going to be doing a meet like this?
So there is a training every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Central, and then every Tuesday and Thursday at 3:30 Central.
Okay, I'll be looking forward to it.
No worries. And then these are all recorded and then they're on the channel too.
Okay.
Like this one will be posted tomorrow.
All right.
All right, cool. So I don't remember what I was saying. Austin messed it up. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, if you guys need me anything in the Discord, just hit me up. If not, you guys have a great night and I'll talk to you later.
Good night.
See ya.
Thanks, man.